It's time for business news with Richard Southern. And Richard, we start with a big development in the telecommunication industry.
Yeah, this is regarding a very big potential M&A deal. Melissa, Rogers has been trying to buy Shaw Communications for more than $20 billion, and it got one big stamp of approval after the closing bell on Bay Street today. The CRTC, Canada's broadcasting regulator, it approved Rogers' acquisition of Shaw's broadcasting services. It means Rogers can take ownership of another 16 cable services based in Western Canada, as well as a national TV service on satellite and some other broadcast and TV assets as well. There were some conditions put in place, though, including that Rogers kick in more than $27 million to various initiatives and funds, 5 times what Rogers was proposing paying. The CRTC says Rogers must also increase the number of journalists that it hires at its city TV stations across the country. Now, what was not included in this approval is Shaw's a telephone and wireless business. That part of the deal is continuing to be approved or looked at by the Competition Bureau. Not too long ago, the House of Commons Industry Committee, Melissa, said that this acquisition of Shaw should not go ahead unless major conditions were put in place. But this, obviously, a big step for Rogers' acquisition here. And Rogers Class B stock prior to this announcement was up 0.25%. And, of course, Rogers, the parent company of this station.
Okay, now a decision is coming soon here in Canada, and it could have a major impact on the world's oil supply.
Canada is turning on the oil taps. They're loosening them up. We're going to produce more oil to try and make up for the shortfall coming out of Russia. You know, Western countries putting in place all these sanctions against Russian oil. Ottawa announced this afternoon that Canada will export up to 300,000 more barrels of oil per day in response to the shortages. And the price for oil did move lower today, not directly related to this, but a lot of other countries are planning on doing the same thing. Oil was down 2.3%. Unfortunately, we're not going to see much follow through at the gas pumps. The price of gas expected to go up 3 pennies at midnight tonight, and our friends over at Enpro International are predicting another 2-cent increase on Saturday. Your cheapest bet for a fill-up is this evening. After City News, of course, not right now, Melissa.
Some good advice there. Now, Uber has been at war with the taxi industry for years, and that's what makes this story so interesting, Richard.
It does. It's based out of New York City, but this is very big. I mean, there's going to be a new way for you to hail an iconic New York City taxi cab if you're down in the Big Apple. Melissa, you'll be able to not only wave your finger to hail it, but also use your Uber app. Uber has reached an agreement to list New York City taxis on its app. It's a partnership that up until recently would have been unthinkable, with both camps fighting furiously for the same customers. What's changed, though, is Uber is lacking drivers in New York City, and the taxi drivers of those yellow cabs, they're lacking business because a lot of it is going to Uber. So maybe this is making sense for both companies now, and maybe we'll see this in other cities. Who knows? Even in Toronto, Uber stock was up 5% today.